Hey guys, Grant with Soul Shining Path from Play Everywhere, because it's always good to play in everywhere that you can, I say. Cool guys, so this is a reading for Aries. It's being done in October of 2025, just after the portal day, but it is timeless. So if it's finding you, if it's your first time seeing me, trust that it is for a reason. Oh, sorry, I got a bit loud there, guys, but that's the thing. That's the energy that you Aries naturally have, and that's what you're wanting to actually go ahead and bring. So the fact of the matter is that you're returning back to something with a lot more passion. There's a certain degree of warmth within that way of how it is that you've learned to use your mind. Now the trick here is that you've learned how to. You've not fully integrated, but you've learned how to. So it's a case of learning how to go ahead and give yourself that opportunity with that Ten of Cups, where it is that fullness that you're actually wanting to experience, that you're wanting to have, it takes planting the seed first. And that might sound a bit bizarre, specifically to some class of individuals that are very fast moving, very passionate, very alive. But it's a case of beneath that aliveness, there is a very deep well, a very deep capacity for the same way that you can burn so bright is what you can feel and allow to heal within you. And that's the opportunity here. It's for you to go ahead and release the requirement for more and more and more, and instead stimulate that feeling of completion, of fulfillment inside you now. To realize that every moment of the mind coming in, because that's exactly what it is, and why I say that it's about having learned to, is to apply that temperance, that balance, that opportunity to say, okay, this is where I want to spiral and want to kind of bring in all these different narratives of concern, of timeline, of frustration, of fear, of guilt, but instead saying, I'm exactly where I need to be, and feeling that. You know, the feeling is the healing. So it's about learning how to give yourself the presence with what is happening, to recognize and realize these changes in your life and the lives of those around you. The more that you continue to aspire for this and the experience of this, the more that you're going to continue to see and reap the benefits of life moving with, through, and as you. Now, as you continue to do this, there's a certain completion of a chapter where it is that something that you got a certain degree good with. You know, it could be an art, it could be a creativity, it could even be like the most logical thing, like being a lawyer. You're going to now suddenly find that there's even greater depths, like nuances and specific tricks and trades that you never realized were there. And it's asking you to kind of acknowledge these as gifts and blessings, as opportunities so that you can give them back to the world, of not sitting with the gifts you have and saying, oh, but these are mine, they're only for me. Because everything we're given, in this sense, specifically that which comes most easily, is for us to share to the world so that the world can ultimately share it back to us. So there's certain degrees of assessing where it is that you have been giving it, because it's very easy to look at what we've been giving and saying we've been over-giving or we've been under-receiving. And all of these things come in a relationship of knowing how to balance what's coming with what's going. And this balance, it's not about being logical with it. It's about listening to those spooky feelings. And that spooky feeling is the same as something that may have just had you look at my face on this thumbnail and be like, oh, I'm an Aries, let me click it. There's a certain degree of learning to trust that natural impulse of that moves through you, but balance it in the space of what's the quickness of what you can do versus what you really want to do. And there's a certain alignment in those ways. It's a slow timing, it's a small timing, it's a very slight shift in learning that what you're doing is teaching you and kind of being present with the isness. And this is where having a practice, having something to come back to, and I'm really not trying to say that you have to sit down and meditate. If you want to, great, that works for me from time to time. I had a great 30-minute meditation earlier today. It was perfect, it was just what I needed. But if all you want to do is stop for half a breath, for half a millisecond, please, by all means. It's not about the size of it, it's about you doing it for you, for the isness of giving yourself any amount more time, because the practice of it is just allowance, just acceptance, just surrender to the fact of maybe I just, okay, that is how I'm feeling, that is fully what's moving with me and how it is that I want to continue to go ahead and live in these ways, and that's okay, or not. But it's about allowing that experience to really sit deep within you. So it's not contingent or reliant on any of these other experiences, happenings, possibilities, people, or anything. It's about you going and saying, this is it, this is how we're moving. And then trusting it, moving with it, knowing that is that. That you don't have to justify your existence to other people, you don't have to justify the way that you choose to do things, you don't have to justify any of those experiences because it's your learnings. And other people may look at you and say that you're wrong, you're fast, you're out of control. And from their perspective, they could be completely right. And it's not about who's right or wrong. It's a case of like, if you guys are choosing to kind of relate healthily, then there's a certain degree of allowing each person to do it their way. And knowing that that way is sufficient. That if that person feels that way and is living it as that way, then that's theirs. And if yours is like this, then maybe you guys are just slightly separated for now. And again, that's like a practice of, you don't know what it is that your space being away from there is bringing and affording. I would very much say that with family, there's a bit more free flow with this and opportunities to expand through it. With relationships, I would be a little bit more hesitant and cautious in saying, obviously take your own judgments here and your own way of integrating it, but it's about learning how to know more truthfully if this is really someone that you choose to relate to. Not because they're good or you're bad, but like actually just getting like to the nitty gritty of the alignments, you know, and that's a case of like, how do you guys feel with one another? How nakedly can you bare your soul to one another in that regard? That's where there's the wonderful quote, I think by Charlie Chaplin to his daughter, saying, your naked body should only belong to those who appreciate and love your naked soul. And that's, you know, that's alignment, is that regard of who is it that truly, truly wants to hold, share, and exist with you on the deepest of levels and just effortlessly be there through all of it. And that's it, you know? And that's kind of what a lot of this crux is. And I mean, I'm going to extrapolate, I'm going to bend it out to not just saying that with your relationships, but with everything in your life. Because we're in a bit of a retuning moment for you at the moment, Aries, where it's that you've kind of aced the game that you're in. You know, you're very much a lot further ahead than many of the people around you. And like, well done, guys. I know for some of you it may feel like you're in the exact opposite position, but it's kind of learning how to see things from a slightly more step back, removed perspective. Because what you're seeing as like the duality of life is that even if you're currently the person that's failed the most, that means you've made the most first attempts in learning, which means that you're actually in the preparation and prepared space to be able to go ahead and step more easily, wholly, and directly into that which you could ever have dreamed of. Fuck yeah, type of thing. So now the process of learning to move with that and make that decision to be the next natural step for you is one that will it come easily. It'll come effortlessly, honestly. But it's about learning how to recognize your validity in it. Now guys, as we move to the motion portion, there's a bit of an inspiration piece here, which is a case of if something you're seeing, if it's like speaks to you, if it's not even about speaking to the motion of it, but it's like, imagine that you're a kid seeing how people dance for the first time. There's a certain thing where it's like, ooh, I think my hips like to do that. And obviously you can't quite see my hips, so it's a silly position, and I'm moving with like things, but the idea is like, there's a more than experience happening in these experiences, these happenings, these sharings. And it's about learning to experience that light that's shining as a means of, this is what I now want to do. And this is also part of how you're claiming it, because we're creating some new methods for claiming. So guys, get up, move your body, shake it, even if it's just like, oh my word, this person again wanting to make me do things in order to change my life. Gosh, why can't I just stay the same? And then, oh shit, if I stay the same, I'll get the same result. Fuck, let me get up. So it's that sort of element of learning how to create a new motion, a new dance, a new lexicon of your own experiential being into the new state that it is that you're provided now for. And this provision, it's something where it's like you've been feeding it for a long time, and that's kind of the biggest frustration that I feel like is happening with you, Aries, the most, is because of how quick you guys are. You actually intuitively know how to feed the change incredibly quickly, but when the change comes up, because it comes through a lot of different wavelengths and experiences and perceptions, and the filters that you've built on, and that were built on specifically for your benefit, shall we say, are somewhat limited in the capacity that they have to go ahead and fully experience everyone else. And there's degrees of acceptance within that, of allowance that what it is that's been happening has been happening for you, and learning how to be more okay with that happening, you know, because it's not just about this having happened or this needing to happen, it's about this being in the process of happening, the continuous version of that, as opposed to, oh fuck, what are we going to do now? It's the case of, oh, we're going to rest into it. we're going to relax into it, and we're going to allow these opportunities of, oh gosh, am I doing it right? Is that person meant to be allowed to do that? I mean, it kind of links with what I was saying, but like, does it really? And it's a case of learning how to allow that flexibility in mind to kind of come in and to see it as a bit of a challenge, you know, because it's going to challenge you. Like, it's going to challenge you a lot. And that's okay. In actual fact, it's perfect. And that process of it is very much your genius. It's your part of you that was here already. And it's a case of learning how to go and say, okay, cool. So some of these people might have different perspectives to me, but hey, I'm going to use my ability and capacity to move faster, not because I need to race or catch up or anything like that, but because this is what feels good to me, and I'm going to give myself the opportunity to do what feels good to me, because I must have that capacity for a reason. And that's the whole turning point. The whole turning point is you choosing to show up as for and who you decide to become, not just because you can, but because you get to. And this is part of a broader shift that you'll find in some of your friend groups, some of your people, some of your co-workers, some of the people in your life. And it's a bit like contradictory and ever so slightly counterintuitive, because for some people, some of you, for those people that are doing it, that are like kind of picking it up and dancing with it naturally, those are the people that you should go to. You should always spend a little bit more time with these people when it's healthy. Like, don't get me wrong, like, don't use the fact that they're doing this to exclude regressionary behavior, or to what's the word, like, because it's balance, you know. It's like, allow yourself to be in places that hurt slightly, but be aware of that intuition and internal guidance that says, okay, cool, we've had enough here, it's time to go. Because it's about learning to kind of give value and validity to that experience in the way that you're allowing it to occur, as opposed to forcing it to occur. You know, because there's certain big elements of truth and what's working through us. And that's very much like the crux of all of this, is allowing that higher mind of self, that mind that's been guiding you for a long time, that one that knows and just goes, learning how to go ahead and effortlessly more relate with it. So guys, this is very much about you creating the space for the relationship to yourself. It's a very interesting time, because it's like you guys have all seemingly, more than not, let's go with more than not, just to cover my base, have created the changes to chip off like the old self, and now it's like you're moving through the cocoon and emerging a changed individual. Now, emerging a cocoon means that some of you are completely exiting the chrysalis, so you've gone through the pain. Some of you may still need to go through some elements of the pain, but the pain is lessened through acceptance of it, acknowledging what it is that you, on your smaller side of the whole of everything, can change, and then making those changes as efficiently as possible. Guys, I really look forward to hearing what it is that you're going through. Please let me know down below. If anything I've said has resonated or you feel like will, please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, see you guys soon. Cheers.